Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In tonight's video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint some rustic urns. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll show you step by step how to do it from start to finish. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's man of chat tonight, so if you've got questions while I'm painting, you can ask those and we'll try to answer. Let's get started. Alrighty, so I'm starting with the blank canvas. Hello everybody, glad to have you joining us tonight. If you're new, I hope you stick around and subscribe and come back.
We're earning for your business.
I am. I always forget to say that at the beginning. You're supposed to say it like, you know, at the very beginning, and I always forget just to say hi. Yeah, let's, we're going to be,
And she missed the pun already.
What pun?
I said we're earning for your business. What's the show tonight?
Oh, God. Sorry. I mean.
So if you're still new and still sticking around, good job.
Okay, 9 by 12 inch canvas from Fredrix Mini Canvas Board. Just moving on. Not even, don't. I have a feeling we're going to get a lot of puns. I'm not a fan of puns, and my husband Mark is, so it'll be an interesting night.
Yes.
As far as brushes go, way to throw me off my game right at the beginning. 2-inch Aspen for the background work, and then for the urns themselves, I decided, since we're going kind of rustic, to use my Aspen brushes. They're kind of a little bit more stiffer bristled, and I just kind of grabbed a variety of Filberts, and this is a new short Filbert, short oval Filbert, say that fast, and then this one is the regular short Filbert. And yeah, we'll just see. I got a couple rounds in there too, in different sizes. And then I grabbed my Willow's blenders now, from the VelvetTouch line. These are all Princeton brushes. And I also grabbed, for the greenery that we're going to do, is a 1/4-inch angle brush. So I'll mention the brushes if I use them, when I use them, as long as I remember to do that. I say that and then sometimes I forget, but I try. We paint this live. It goes how it goes, you know. I try to remember all the stuff to to teach and tell you and deal with somebody over here. And yeah, so you get to see the whole process from start to finish, good, bad, and the ugly. And a lot of times the problems or mistakes and things will help you, hopefully, when you're painting, to see how to kind of fix things. So the live streaming is interesting in that way. All right, let's go over colors. Carbon black, burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow oxide, Indian yellow hue, phthalo turquoise, and ultramarine blue, and then unbleached titanium and titanium white, and then there's some gloss glazing liquid. Pretty limited palette. I just kind of went with sort of neutral colors. If you want to do a different color in your background, feel free. Really, I kind of was tempted to just get rid of the blue altogether, but I do kind of like the Mediterranean summer vibes that the turquoise is giving off, so I think I'm going to go with it. So I'm going to grab the turquoise and a little bit of ultramarine blue. The ultramarine blue will make it a little bit more of a true blue color. You could use, I kind of probably skip both of these and just use phthalo blue, but I feel like I can kind of do a broader range of things with those two colors. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of the burnt sienna. I think I added a little too much because it's kind of neutralized it a little too much. I just want a little slight neutralization of the brightness of this blue. Okay, so there we go. Somewhere in there. It looks dark right now. We're going to add lots of white to it. And this will make it a little bit more of a turquoisey blue, or if you've got a turquoise you want to use, you could use that too. Having this darker turquoise, though, is going to be helpful for us when yeah, that looks nice. Okay, let's go ahead and get a little bit of water on the brush. I started out by wetting it down, and also let's go ahead and put a little water on our canvas with just a spray, just a small spray. You don't need a lot, but it'll kind of open up the fibers of this canvas for us, and kind of little clump of paint there that I'm trying to get out. Okay, so I'm just gonna dab that on, and I'm not gonna be real careful about how I put this on. I'm just going to kind of slap it on the canvas. Just the main thing is to get it on there quickly so that we have a little bit of time to sort of push it around and blend it at the end. Get a little bit more water. If I add too much water and it's like super kind of soupy, it's starting to get a little soupy, I can add a little bit of glazing medium. That'll make it stick better. I don't want it super transparent though, so you just have to be careful not to add too much water, because it'll make the paint thinner and then it'll be more translucent. So, and you could have probably done this before we even started. Now that I'm thinking about it, probably would have been a good idea, but whenever I'm mixing a bunch of colors, I don't like to just do it ahead of time, because it can be, that's part of the process. I want to show you everything. So all right, so it went a little bit lighter at the bottom here, and I'm going to get a little bit more white, go a little bit more even. There we go. And once you put the paint down, then just very, very lightly kind of brush it through, and it'll kind of blend it in to the background. So kind of just suggesting a change of color there, and then I'm going to get a little bit of that darker color and go kind of above this. Somewhere, maybe a little bit lower, somewhere down in here. So I'm going to get some of that darker color just to go on there, though, using the edge of my brush this way. And then let's just get the rest of that paint on there. Okay. Probably going to need you to dry this for me, hun. Doesn't look like much right now, so we didn't really get a lot of values in there. Oh yeah, I'll let you take the brush too, thank you. It's a little drippy. All right, well, let me go ahead and mix up a little bit more of this background color while he's doing that, and I'm going to use my palette knife for that since he took my brush. So kind of equal parts of these two colors, and then just like maybe just a tiny smidge of the burnt sienna. So that'll give me a nice dark tone to blend into, whoops, later. And whoop, let me just go ahead and scrape up all this wet paint that's still here. It's got a little bit of white in it, but it's not going to hurt anything. Okay, so that looks good. And I might even add a little bit of black to it, or a little bit of burnt umber to it to make it a little bit darker. And then let's go ahead and scrape up this lighter version. If I leave it flat like this, it's going to dry like almost before Mark returns. You know, it dries really fast when you thin out your paint like this. So I'm going to get some of my white here and mix that up again. So I have a little bit of each color. Let me show you before he comes back what I did for on Saturday. This was, I have a membership program over on patreon.com/AngelaFineArt. Or if you just go to Patreon and search for Angela, or even Google it, it'll come up. But I have links down in the description to it as well. It's probably the easier way of doing it. But we do a monthly bonus video for our $5 level patrons, and this is what we worked on.
There's something.
Oh my gosh, is it raining?
Something's falling from
What?
the sky. I don't know what it is.
That is amazing. We haven't had rain in weeks. been under a burn
6
ban.
weeks.
Yeah. Anyhow, so that was what we worked on. I'm really proud of this one because it's my own creation. Took the photo myself. Mark took this photo and he took photos of some of these flowers in our garden, the bees especially, and the butterfly. And yeah, so it turned out really fun. About almost 4 hours, I think, something like that. Right around 4 hours. So, okay, I don't have my brush that I need. I will get a bigger brush here. Let me get this one. I'll go ahead and use this one. This is a 12 Bright. All right, so, and then I also have, just to, in case anybody's interested in Patreon, I also have other levels on there. I have a $1 or a $2 level that is the traceables. So I'll make a traceable for this image. So every painting since 2017 will have a traceable that you can use to kind of get a head start on your drawing if you don't like to draw. Speaking of drawing, let's go ahead and do that so we know kind of where we're doing our shadowing and shading and whatnot. Okay, need to put my chalk closer. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna just grab some white chalk and we'll put paint on the edge. Put in our vases. So our urns or whatever. So we've got a large one right here, and you could really do whatever you want. Urns are really I'm seeing them everywhere in decorating right now. These kind of rustic urns are very popular. So I thought this would be fun. Thank you, hon. I'm gonna give this one a handle. So there's that one. And then I added one this reference photo didn't have. Here a little bit. I think I'm going to, I don't really like that these two are the same size or the same height. So I think I'm going to raise this one up just a little bit, especially since it doesn't have any greenery in it in our photo. So I think I'm going to do greenery or maybe some sticks and stuff out of this one. And I think I might give this one kind of a bottleneck a little bit and maybe move it over just a little bit more too. So somewhere right here. There's so many shapes and things that you can do with these. Just using chalk so that it's easy to erase. And they are just about, like this one's a little bit lower because it's a little bit bigger. Comes down a little bit lower here. All right, and then the shorter one, and I'm going to change the shape of this one as well, make it more of a V-shaped. And it's going to have some greenery. Like that. Pretty simple composition, but having this in different sizes will help. I think I'm going to make this one just a little bit bigger and fill in this space a little bit more, or maybe a little wider. Something like that. Okay, that'll work. Let me get some white, and I'm going to kind of add a little dry brush of white along the bottom here. And it's really kind of the white mixed with this light blue color here. I'm just going to add some texture to this bottom area. Just laying my brush flat and dragging it, and so that the canvas texture picks up the paint. Ooh, I had paint on that side and did not know it. Let me pull that off. That is more than I wanted to put down right there. Well, we'll just blend it in. That's okay. Nice thing about acrylics is that you can kind of paint over any mistakes you make or whatever, you know, any problems that you have can be fixed pretty easily. It's one of the reasons I don't paint with watercolors is I'm too messy. Do stuff like that all the time. Or maybe I've just gotten lazy because I know I can fix it. When whatever reason, watercolors and I don't seem to mix very well. Granted, I haven't painted with them very often, so.
You should.
Kind of figured out what I wanted to do with them with acrylics and never looked back. Yeah, I should. I really should. I've talked about it multiple times. All right, I'm gonna get some glaze here in my dark turquoise and create kind of a transparent wash with this. And then I'm gonna brush that on over here in some places, but I'm not gonna go super thick. You see this brush with the texture that it has, it kind of allows the paint to go on a little bit more like rough. It doesn't have a smooth texture. So if you wanted a smooth blend, this is not the brush that you want to grab. But if you want a little texture like we want for this, then this is the one I'm getting because it's already got built-in texture just because of the way it's made. The bristles are a little thicker and a little stiffer, and they don't bend as easily. You have to apply some pressure, and it creates some interesting texture in our canvas there. So you're seeing that as well. I'm gonna turn off one of these lights. Let's see if you can see this better, because I feel like, is that better? I think it's better. There's just a little too much light there. Couldn't see what I was doing. Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit darker. Go darker in this corner. Well, I went a little too low. Right in there somewhere. Actually, this will be dark too because it's the shadow of this pot here, but there is a line. Okay, so somewhere in like that. I'll fix this corner later. Once I get my pot in, I'll kind of know. Mainly, I'm just trying to get a little texture on this back wall here. And I'm not going to do a ton of the, details that I'm seeing. But if you want to, you can kind of make, some random lines and different things, or, looks like a drain pipe or something over here, whatever you want to do. My focal point is my urns, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time messing with this background. It's just not going to be necessary. Okay, I'm going to use some of this dark, just a little bit of it, to go over the white as well. So it's got some texture. Okay, so that's nice. I think I like this color. It looks pretty close to the background color of my picture too. And I think I want to add some white up here because I can see that it's not all dark. So I'm going to get some of this lighter color here. Maybe add a little bit of white. This is that color that I was doing down there. Add a little glaze just like we did before. Just helps it kind of go on a little bit smoother. I don't want it to be real thick. If I wanted big chunky pieces of texture, then I wouldn't add the glaze, but because I kind of want this sort of subtle, then I'm wanting the paint to go on a little thinner. And if I want to kind of hide where my line starts, I can kind of start behind where I know one of these vases is going to be, and I'm literally laying my brush almost flat. Yeah, just kind of picking a direction. Now, if I wanted to do kind of a stucco look where, you know, it was all kind of like put on in different directions, like a really plastered stucco look, I could use my brush and kind of flip flop it, which I might do a little bit of that just to kind of give it a little extra texture. It got a little heavy right there. And then going back over it with the lighter or the darker color here and there too. All right, so now we've got kind of some texture happening. Make this match since I kind of went in different directions with it over there. A little bit darker over here again. Okay, I lost my drawing completely. I don't have anything to draw. Well, it is what it is. I should have just painted the background, I guess, first, but it's okay. All right, let me get my blender. I'm going to get the 3/8 inch blender and my white, a little bit of unbleached titanium, and I'm going to mix up some, and I think I'm going to grab my mixer here, or my palette knife here, and do kind of a 50-50 with yellow oxide and burnt sienna. And that's a pretty good terracotta mixture. Usually might add a little bit more of the burnt sienna, a little bit more reddish tone to it. I'm going to add a little tiny bit of ultramarine blue. That'll kind of tone down the color, make it a little bit more earthy. That looks good. Okay, it's kind of getting into this texture or from before to the blues from before. That looks all right. All right, so I'm going to mix that in with this white and unbleached titanium that I have over here, and start putting in my vases, or my urns, I should say. I'm going to let some of that blue shine through in places, so I'm not going to try to give it like a solid coverage. Pickle is cracking me up with this moaning tonight. He's got an attitude tonight. I might get a red. I didn't put a red in my palette, but I almost need like a red oxide for this. I thought the burnt sienna would be red enough, but I'm kind of seeing a little bit more red in my photograph, so I might grab a red and add it to my palette here at the last minute. And I'm literally going to scrub this on so that it goes on kind of rough and textured. The pots in the photo are a little bit more smooth, but I think I want them even more rustic. Okay, let's get a little of that turquoise. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow, Union Yellow Hue, make it green. I'm going to use some of that down at the bottom of it. It's a little bit very green. Let's add some of this to it to tone it down. Okay, there we go. Get a little bit of burnt umber. mix that with my green, Phthalo Turquois, and Indian Yellow Hue. And I'm just gonna turn this so it's a little easier for me to do a straight line, and I'm gonna do that slightly curved bottom there on my pot. And no marks.
Mark's minding his own business.
Mark's holding his tongue right now. All right, so that is not quite straight yet. I need to fix that. Oh, dropped it. And I'm realizing I don't have a towel for cleanup. Just getting a little bit of water there. There we go. Well, my paint is drying out real fast tonight. It's very dry in the studio. Okay, I'm just gonna have to let that dry because it's gonna, I'm gonna flip it over so I can see where I'm off here. This can help you kind of see your symmetry issues a little bit easier. So I think I'm leaning this way. Just need to bring this pot out here on this side a little bit. What?
Nothing.
What? What did you say? I didn't hear you, for real.
Could be.
Right. Did you say that? Were you on mic when you said that?
No, of course not.
Mark is making lewd comments to me about curvy bottoms.
I don't want to have another cactus incident.
We are not. This is a family show.
Your urn.
All right.
We're talking strictly about your urn.
What?
About the bottom of your urn is curved.
I cannot hear you.
The bottom of your urn is curved.
Okay. Right. All right. Here we go. Yeah, it's supposed to be curved. That looks better though. The angle of the camera too kind of makes it look weird because it's not square to the camera, so it can be hard to see. I think I'm going to bring this edge out a little bit, round this out a little bit on this side. Bring the shoulder up a little bit. Okay. And wherever I'm adding, new color or whatever, I'm just kind of blending it out into the next color. I did not realize I had that much of that color on there. But grabbing some of this darker green or whatever, and I'm just kind of going back and forth. You can see how I'm blending it. If you will kind of pick a direction, and in this case, I'm kind of doing my lines sort of vertical on the urn here, on this jug. following the shape of it along the sides, so kind of curving the sides in this way, and then in the middle going kind of straight up and down. And whenever I'm adding a new section, just making sure that I'm kind of blending it in all around. All right. I think that's all right. I can't really tell. Moving on.
I think I need to go out play in the rain. Oh yeah, please.
Hopefully it'll still be there when we get done with this. Let me see. I need some red. Yeah, so I'm going to grab transparent red iron oxide. I think that's going to give me a little boost in my redness that I need in my vases. It's just a tiny little cloud hanging over our heads, huh? They might be gone. Actually, that looks like almost exactly what I've got there, so it might not be really that helpful. No, it's pretty much what I already had. All right, plan B. It's a nice little glow though. Okay, let's go ahead and move on over here. I'm gonna get a little bit of more burnt umber for this one. Do this big one with a little bit more of the burnt umber. I'm just going to kind of use this to shape it out first, and then we can play with the proportions. Might make it a little bit wider. I painted some urns at with some hydrangeas in them with some rabbits for my $10 level Patreon group. I was mentioning that earlier with Patreon. I didn't mention the $10 level group, so there's the $5 level, which is what I showed you. That is once a week, one long video that is, covering something that's a little bit more detailed than what we will do on our live streams on YouTube. Just, a 4-hour video. And I have some that have gone that long on YouTube, but longer videos just don't tend to do very well on YouTube. And so kind of created the Patreon page for a place where I could do some of these longer videos and get paid to do them. Imagine that.
Paid to work?
What?
What? Who does that?
About more than half of what we do is completely free. But there's just a few videos that we do for our patrons that are pay to watch, and it's a monthly pledge, so it's a $10 or $5 whatever membership, and that gives you access to everything in the Patreon library under that level. So for the $10 level group, what we do, instead of doing a one-time video that's 3 or 4 hours long, we do a video every week on Thursdays, and we just work on it until it's done. So sometimes it takes 3 weeks, sometimes it sometimes it takes 5 or longer. And the nice thing about those videos is that I can kind of stop when I start to get to a point where I usually do about 2 hours at a time. But if I get to a point where I'm not really sure how to proceed, or what to do next or whatever, it gives me time to kind of think and design in between the weeks. So, which I don't have time to do when I'm doing these live stream videos. It's like I got to figure it out while I'm doing it, because I'm not coming back to it. I'm going to add some blue, light blue from the the bounce light. I'm seeing some of this bounce light on this face here. So I need to resolve the top of it, but I'm tempted to just put something coming out of it, and then I don't know. I'm not sure, but let's go ahead and give it a top. Oh yeah, we were gonna do kind of a narrower top. So finding the middle of the vase and then just kind of trying to make sure that I go equal sides out from that. It looks pretty close. And these are pretty much eye level, so we're not seeing a whole lot of the inside of them. I'm seeing a tiny bit here, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of do a little bit of a opening there. Get a little bit of the darker. You could do a little bit of an opening there. Looks pretty good. Although I kind of don't like, I don't know. I'm trying to do different sizes and shapes here. So I might change this up just a little bit so it's not so matchy. Same. Just realized that this neck and this neck were about the same size, so I don't think I want that. I think I'd rather this be a little bit wider. And these just come in all kinds of different shapes and sizes, so I don't think you can really go wrong. You could be very creative with this. Let's go ahead and go a little wider even still. He's tilting this way. This one's tilting that way. This one's tilting this way. My pots are drunk. They're a little unsteady. So I'm gonna bring this guy out just a little bit. Good, we need it. Although I should have picked that. You want to go out in the rain? You said you want to go out and play. I've got a tomato that I need picked. It's probably already too late. It's probably
it'll be
splitting.
It's not just split.
Yeah, it is. With this much rain.
You'll get it right after the show.
Okay. Remind me.
I'll try.
I've got a big tomato about that big that I've been watching. It's supposed to. It's the yellow. It's supposed to turn red. So I've been kind of keeping an eye on it. Nice. All of my tomatoes have been splitting this year for some reason. So we changed the way we watered them, and I think it's helping. Because I lost several big tomatoes to splitting. That they split and I didn't notice it, and then the bugs got in before I got the chance to get out there. That's just a crying shame when that happens. All right, so we got that. Sorry, it's a whole side thing. I'm just cleaning off my stuff here. Let's go ahead and put the handle on this guy. So it comes off the neck here. More like that. And I'm gonna get a little bit of the burnt umber, maybe a little bit of this turquoise mixed with this burnt sienna color. A good shadow color for my urn handle there. Looks good. you're just going to have to kind of trust this process because it's going to kind of look worse before it looks better, especially some of these shapes until they get quite, resolved. They look a little funky. It's okay. Mark's just over there dreaming about rain.
No, somebody said that they had a similar issue with their tomatoes last year, and they suggested to give it more calcium.
Oh, okay. Will do. Good thinking. Oh, I've never grown such big tomatoes, Mark. We got a new tomato fertilizer that we used this year for the first time. Mark put it out, and like immediately they just got huge. So that was nice, but yeah, they're splitting. It's just been really frustrating because they grow them, and then looking forward to eating them, and then they all that work for nothing. All right, I'm gonna get some glazing medium out. This is dry now, so and I need to kind of finish these two before I work on this little one in front. So I'm gonna get some glaze with this. I like this dark turquoise, turquoise with the burnt sienna mixture here that I had going on with the burnt umber, burnt sienna right here, and I think it had a little bit of this lighter color in it too. But anyhow, so I'm using that to glaze some shadow on this light coming from this way. So we got our shadow side here. I'm going to go ahead and kind of put it up part way and then wipe my brush out and just pull from that wet paint. Pull it out. Gotta do this quickly because it'll dry pretty fast. But that glaze has a little bit of an extender and it gives me a little bit of dry time. There we go. And again, it doesn't have to be a smooth blend for this because we're kind of going for rustic. So any kind of blemishes or streaks or anything will just kind of look like we meant to do that. So don't get too worried about the blending. We go dark on this side too. Even though our light is coming from this side, we'll still have a little bit of a rounded shape. This part is going to be getting a little bit of a shadow as it's rounding away from us. If I put the light right up against this side, then it would look like this was a flat surface that had an angle. But we want it to look rounded, so we got to have a little bit of a shadow along both sides where it curves around. And then this middle part will be our highlight, and I want a little bit more light color, maybe not that dark over here. I'm gonna get a little bit of my lighter color and just kind of push that back in over, and I can let some of that dark peek through, like dry brush over it. So dry brushing, kind of like what we did back here, just kind of using this brush with just a little bit of paint in it and just letting it kind of brush texture onto the canvas. I like it. Okay, and then maybe let's do a little bit more right in here with a little bit more white. I'm gonna get a little glaze also. I thought about getting a zinc white too, which would be an option. So if you wanted to do like a zinc white, you could use that. It would make a nice highlight. I'm just going to use my finger, push that paint around a little bit, around the edges. Okay, there we go. Varnish that out nicely. And then let's put a little bit of a highlight along the rim. The light's hitting it. And a little bit on the inside of the handle right here. And the light's coming from this way, so it's It's kind of facing the light a little bit. Catching right there and a little bit up here. Kind of the middle of it though. I'm not going right to the edge because remember it's rounded, so if I want it to look rounded, I gotta leave a little shadow on both sides. A little bit lighter on the side that's facing the light, but get the idea. Getting a little bit of a highlight right there at the neck, just before it comes out. Okay, that one's pretty much done, I think. Pretty happy with the color, I think. It's a little bit more yellow than I intended, but it works, so it's fine. This one's still way out of whack. I don't know where we went wrong here. I really need to have one of those symmetrical tools that'll like check your, you know. It looks okay. I think it needs to come out a little bit on this side again still. And I think like right in here somewhere we're off. Let me, wrong pencil. So this is, let's get my T-square. That's better measuring stick. Okay, there we go. So there's my center line-ish. Maybe go a little bit this way.
Now use your T-square.
What?
Now use your T-square from the bottom. I'm trying to follow that line. Is it parallel?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
What? Yeah.
If you just measured the top halfway and the bottom halfway, connected the dots, and then use your T-square, it should tell you if you're off any. But you've already done that. So you look good. I think it's just an optical illusion.
No, this is definitely off because if I'm doing, if this is kind of right on the half right here. Can't really see it, but there's a mark right there. I'm just slightly to this side of it. So right there, if you got one, if you go, oh my God, 1.5 again. I got no mark. It would help if I could see my markings. This is why I don't do math here. Okay, so I'm trying to keep this center line on that. But yeah, so see this is coming out. This is coming out to right about here where this is curving up. There, it should be out to here on this side, and it's not. See? So that will help right there. It needs to come out to right about there. It comes out there, but not here. And then go up. And then let's check here. So 4 inches. So any given point here, if I kind of do my T-square right, there's on the quarter, and it needs to be out to here on this side. So this side's just a little bit narrow. Okay, and then let's see where we're going up. That looks pretty good. This needs to come up. So this side needs to come out on this side. Yeah, so you see the 4-inch mark here. It's not quite. It comes out a little bit more. This will just help us make sure we're getting it. The opening looks all right. We need to square it up a little bit. Okay, so let's try that and see if that helped. My goodness, math. Who knew? I'll have to round the bottom out a little bit too. No comments.
Have I ever told you how hot you are when you're doing math?
No, I don't think so.
You're kind of speaking engineer over there.
Am I? You get all hot and bothered.
Now, if you just got an Excel out and did something,
Better. We'd have to stop the show for a while. You're so silly. Okay, there we go. Let's see if that helped our drunk. Oh, he looks better. He still looks like it's tilting a little bit, but not as much. And I need to bring it out on this side a little bit too. I didn't do that yet. I need to straighten this out right here. Okay. Let's get off the chalk marks here. Hit that. Yeah, and I was going to bring this up a little bit. There, okay. And so we can kind of round out the opening a little bit. Get a little bit black. It still looks like it's leaning on the camera, but it's not. It's not as bad. I think the bottom is still a little bit off, maybe. Go a little bit darker on the bottom. Okay. Use a little bit of black. Do this one here. And so once I get my shape kind of right, then I can mess with it in other ways. Maybe give it a lip here. This is dangerous. Just got it symmetrical and I'm messing with it again. But a little bit of wide mouth there at the top. And get my unbleached titanium with a little bit of this color, and let's go ahead and kind of dry brush a highlight along the top and along the rim. There we go. And let's get some of this. Let's go ahead and put in some highlights and really just dry brushing this. Again, kind of going along the outside curves with it, following that curve with any lines, and then in the middle just kind of straight up and down. And really just being kind of messy about it. The more sort of messy you are, the better it kind of does, seems like. So just kind of do it quickly and then stop and look at it, you know, before you make any changes to it, because sometimes it looks better than you realize. So I'm going to get, I still want a red. Yeah. Don't know. Just going to use a little bit of this red iron oxide. Really, burnt orange is probably the color I wanted. Let me pull that one. Let me get the quinacridone burnt orange, because that one's got kind of a pink undertone.
Paging QBO.
Yeah.
QBO, you're up.
What?
QBO, you're up.
Well, the red iron oxide was so close to the burnt sienna in tone. It just didn't quite do it. Yeah, that's better. See how that's got that pinkness? That's what I want. So I'm going to get a little bit of my glaze. And I was going to use it on this one, but I think I'll leave that one yellow. And we'll just use it on this one. There we go. So now we're getting that kind of reddish tone in here. How's everybody doing? Are they excited about Urns, or do we have anybody watching? I don't know. I didn't get...
As excited as people could get about Urns, I think they're there.
They're there? Okay.
They're kind of giddy.
Giddy. They're like, yes, we were looking forward to Urns.
Yes.
Okay. They were hoping there was going to be more Urn puns, so I'm sure.
Well, we've been doing pretty good so far.
Have we? Okay. I'm going to just use this so I can kind of mark up my background here with a little bit more shadows and things. Kind of putting a straight line across. And then I think I'm going to use another brush. I think I'm going to let's grab this one. This is a short bright. This is a new brush. I haven't used this one before, so we'll see what we think. I'm just gonna pull up on that line. Gotta do it fast. Really probably didn't need to go all the way across. It's gonna dry pretty fast, so do this before it dries if you can. Don't want a line. Just wanted to kind of have a little bit of darker color right there where it goes across. There we go, a little bit better. So let's go ahead and use this brush. I'm picking up a little bit more of that color now. Wiping it off. So you put the color down, you wipe it off your brush, and then you just push the paint around. You gotta catch it while it's still wet. And it dries pretty fast, so don't do too big of an area. But you should be able to, if you've got your brush has got enough oomph. And this one's got a pretty good texture to it. You know, it's stiff enough that you can kind of use it to muscle that paint around, push it around, scrub it in. I wouldn't use a real delicate brush for this technique. You want something that can take a beating a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and go over my pot a little bit with this color too. That's much better. Now we have a little bit of depth there. Let's do it over here. Much better. And there's another wall in our reference photo, but we don't have to put it there. I'm not going to worry about it. So I added a little bit of black to this color that we had mixed up before for this. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. I was too busy pulling out this brush. Too excited about the brush. Forgot. Okay, getting a little flick of color there. So once I've got this dark back on the wall, I'm going to add some to the foreground too, right here. slightly in front of this corner right here, and then just back. There we go. Nice. Okay, and then let's do this pot here. So this pot's going to be right in here. I'm going to go ahead and put its shadow in before it gets here because I want to make sure I have it with this color. I'll go ahead and just kind of put it right there somewhere. I'm liking this brush. All right. Oops, that's still wet. Okay, I can't mess with that. Let me see, I was going to use some of this blue on there though. Get some of the blue from the background from down here. Mix it with a little bit of unbleached titanium. And I'm just going to use it to dry brush. And I'm going to try not to touch too heavily on this paint that's trying to dry over here on this side, so it doesn't pick up on me. It will lift if you mess with paint that's drying, it will mess with you. It does not like that. Acrylics will bind to one another when they're drying, and so they will stick to your brush or anything else that touches them while they're in the process of drying. Did not intend to put that much blue on here, but okay. So what I can do, since I put too much on there, is I can take my wet paper towel and just push that paint around with the wet paper towel while it's still wet. I can just kind of rub it into the texture of the canvas. It actually works pretty nicely. So there we go. So now I've got just a tint of blue on there. And this one I will glaze once it dries. I'm gonna leave that to set. Might add just a little bit of a brighter pop right here in the front, where I want it to look a little bit more rounded coming out towards us. So just gonna pick that spot right here and kind of make a little bit of a highlight spot that really kind of is very sticky. But that worked. Okay. And again, we can change the tone of this really easily. We're creating texture here. Let's go ahead and put in our little white pot. So it's going to be right in here, I think. I think this was the general area. And I don't want it to be in like doing this, because then you've got this weird shape right here. So I want to go overlap my pot here just by a little bit so that I get a better compositional shape there out of it. So something like that. And this, the whitest spot here, I should just go straight across, and that should be my whitest spot on this side. There we go. I did not do that on my other vases, which I probably should have. Okay. So there we go. And this one I'm just going to keep kind of short, and we'll have lots of green stuff coming out of it. Yeah, it's gonna look nice, I think. That's working. Spray my canvas here. So let's get some burnt umber and mix that in over here. I don't know how I ended up doing this pot with this brush, but that's okay. It's been working all right. So I'll stick with it. It's a little bit big for this space, but we will make it work. Since these are pottery, sometimes I'll have these lines that kind of come across. Like you can see where it's been thrown, you know, on a wheel or coiled. Either or. I don't know that I'm going to put the stripe decorations on there. You can do that if you want. I may. Well, I'm going to put the greenery on first and then see if I want to do that. So this is dry now. I can put my glaze on here. I'm going to get a little bit of that turquoise, a little bit of the burnt umber. That turquoisey blue that we had before. I don't have any glaze out again. Keep running out of glaze tonight. Okay. Getting my glaze. I might get some of this burnt orange too. Just kind of tinting it a little bit. Looks good. I'm going to use a little bit of this turquoise, this burnt orange, some glaze. And pull it across. Keep saying I'm done with this pot and then I keep messing with it. So I've got kind of some messy glaze there. Didn't quite go on evenly. So I'm just cleaning out my brush, getting a clean brush. Whoops, I do not want the water in there. Clean, kind of dryish brush. It's damp, but it's not wet. And I should be able to kind of pull back over that and kind of move it around a little bit before it dries. Very light touches though, I'm not, because if you press too hard, it'll just like wipe it off. Don't want that to happen. Okay, that looks good. I'm getting some nice blends on here. They're looking real realistic. I like it. Didn't really intend for them to be realistic necessarily, but it's what's happening tonight, so I guess I'm in that mood. Yeah, sometimes happens. I'm gonna just take this and put some random happenings in here. Mess it up. It's feeling a little too clean. Keep it random. We should do shirts. So keep it random. There we go. Just kind of messing it up a little bit. How we doing? It's an hour in. Not doing too bad, I guess.
Were you talking to me?
Kind of, and then I answered my own question.
Did you say thank you? I noticed you haven't been as polite lately.
What? I haven't been as polite. Well, you keep teasing me every time I do it. So
Are you
no.
mad at yourself or something? Or?
No, I'm
Okay,
just
all right.
I'm just trying to keep it internal.
Well, what's the fun in that?
I don't get teased. Okay, so let's go ahead and put in our highlights on this one, and I'm just gonna kind of streak them on in this kind of side to side motion there. Got a little I think I want a gray on here. I'm going to get some burnt umber and burnt ultramarine blue and make it gray. And just use some of that on this guy. Can't decide what color I want this him to be. He's got all the colors. Let's go ahead and put some green on here too, though. I kind of like the idea this one had of having that moss, kind of mossy green. Get a little bit of Indian yellow hue, a little bit of yellow oxide, a little bit of turquoise. Burnt umber will take it down to more of a neutral. But that kind of yellow in it is what makes it look like moss. What is that noise? It's like,
I might bump the
you're
table.
bumping the table. Yeah, when you do that, it's bumping those. Ooh, thunder. I hope the dog's doing okay. Where is he?
He's behind you.
Okay. Doesn't like thunder usually. Sleeping through it. You're doing good, Fitzy. Probably the second I mentioned it, he's gonna start freaking out. Lots of moss on this guy. I like that. I like that color. Let's go ahead and use the turquoise with the burnt umber to glaze on him. Don't be scared of going really dark. I see people do their paintings and they don't have the full range of values. If you keep your values all light, then it's going to look flat. It looks really awkward when you first do it, but if you blend it out enough, it'll look good. So we just gotta kind of trust the process and get your lights light, almost white, and your darks almost black. And of course, you know, that's not always going to be that dark, but there should be some areas in every painting that is almost, you know, almost full dark and almost full light. At least I like to do that. I feel like it adds dimension to the painting. Getting some white here. There we go. All right. So I think I'm pretty happy with that, even though it looks pretty sloppy. I think it fits the brief. It's got the look. All right, let's go ahead and add some greenery and we'll be done. So this won't take very long. We're going to use the angle brush here and some turquoise and Indian yellow hue. And then that's, yeah, sure, burnt umber black over here. So we've got kind of a dark version of the green, and we'll start with that and just add lots of spikies. I like that this is just kind of easy going, just kind of grassy. It's nothing real fancy or difficult. Just kind of lines coming out. Like that, and then let's do some in front too that are coming towards us. So some of them are gonna be a little shorter than others. Crossing over in front of our vase. Remember, they all should point back to the center though, so, you know, you want to make sure it makes sense. Like this one is almost too far out this way, but I caught it just in time right there. But you wouldn't want to do one, is what I'm saying, is you don't want to do one that's like crossing over right here where the end of it is out here in space, you know. If you're going to do ones crisscrossing, they should all point to the center, be attached at the center there somewhere, somehow. Getting a little bit of white with my light greens, make a mid-tone here, do some mid-tone color in here. This should be just a shade or two lighter than what we got already. And I'm just going to go over some of the ones that we've already done. And then I'm going to get some yellow, more white, go really light this time. Okay. Got a big old lumpy spot right there while I brought that vase out, but not a whole lot I can do about it right now. Not a lot that can be done. All right, and then for this one, thinking of doing maybe something along the lines of either a eucalyptus or an olive branches. What you laughing at?
Puppers.
Doing puppy cam? Oh, puppers. Fitz pickle. Fitzy. Fitzy. What are you doing? We sleeping? I'm so sleepy, Mommy. Don't bother me. I'm so sleepy. Well, maybe do those Dollar Tree type of plants. I like the yellow, those white. Maybe do the white would look good here. I don't know. I'm gonna just put a few branches in. Kind of a burnt umber. I don't know, just a nondescript gray. Nothing really fancy here. Doesn't matter, it's not going to show that much. I don't want to bring it over though. Kind of really fill up this space. I think I might do the eucalyptus. Kind of like that idea. So eucalyptus has kind of a little bit of a turquoisey tone to it. I'm going to get a little bit of the ultramarine blue and the turquoise and some burnt umber. It's close to the background color though, so I need to be careful about that. I might have to add a little bit more of a yellow toned green like I did over here. So a little bit of Indian yellow hue with the burnt umber and turquoise and yeah, Indian yellow, burnt umber, turquoise. Okay. And I've switched to a number 2 round here. Where these lighter colors are going in, I'm trying to kind of darken up where they kind of meet up. Oh, that whole thing moved over. I didn't really intend for that to do that. Not sure what happened there. Okay, so I've just got a little bit of all the colors on here at this point. Getting some yellow. Yeah, there we go. So, yellow oxide added with that turquoise blue color that I mixed up earlier. I think that'll look good. I don't know. Just gonna put a few of them and see if I like that shape. If I don't, I can always go to an olive tree. What do you think, eucalyptus or olive leaves?
They both have their advantages. Maybe we should ask Colin to elaborate.
Colin?
Yes, from what we do in the shadows.
Oh gosh. I can hear his voice in my head now. Thank you. That was cruel. Yeah, I think I like the eucalyptus leaf. I like the little rounded. I was feeling like the olive leaves would be too much similar to this, so I'm just kind of using browns and the sage greens, and I've kind of just mixed up a bunch of colors here. And the eucalyptus, they catch the light in different ways, you know, they're kind of overlapping, so some of them are going to be kind of sideways and look like little lines, and then others will be kind of more rounded. So I'm just going to kind of try to create a yeah, I like it. What do you think? Good?
Mm-hmm.
Liking it?
Yeah.
You're not even looking at it.
What are we talking about exactly?
That was perfect. Yeah, it's good. What are we talking about?
We're still on curvy bottoms, right?
Works +1 for curvy bottoms. Thumbs up on that. Big old thumbs up. I love it. We're in so much trouble tonight. I'm sorry for any kids watching that have been scarred by this show.
We're talking about the urns, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, because you called them pots and jugs and
Jars. They're
Jars
it's all
and-
the things. They can be whatever they want to be. Is it non-binary? Our pots are non-binary. They're not.
They're not ours.
They're not. Well, they're just whatever they want to be.
There you go.
No discriminating.
So in all honesty, you've done what I kind of recommended in chat, that if somebody's having a difficult time in getting good symmetry on their urns, then you can just covered up with foliage or
Absolutely.
flowers, whatever. And,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah. If you've got an area, problem area, yeah, just bring your branch or your greenery in front of it. Do that. Easy fix. Put in some brighter highlights there. I think I want to bring this down just a little bit more. So bring a like it. Fun. These are those, they're not the eucalyptus that we grew up with in the 90s with, these are like the eucalyptus leafy variety that have the little rounded leaves, not the ones that grow along the stem with the leaves stacked, which we've painted those. We painted them in the window box that we did a couple weeks ago, last month, whenever it was. These are the round variety of leafy eucalyptus leaves. So they're a little bit different and they are more like a tree branchy feeling. And literally just plopping my brush down to do these. I'm not getting too particular with them, but I'm just trying to make sure that I'm keeping it random and changing the light on some of them. So, some of them are turned into the light and more whitish along the edge or something. And some are darker all over. So that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and put our stripies on this pot because I feel like he just needs something. He's kind of looking a little sad. He doesn't have no tree branches or anything on him, so we'll just give him a little. I'm literally going to just tap and hope to God that I can get it straight. Okay, did I get it straight? I don't think I did. No, I brought that one up a little bit higher. So we'll just do 2 lines. It's okay. There we go. And let's do another one. Now that we get our first one, we can get this one a little bit easier. Hopefully, famous last words. Okay. Yeah, looks all right. And let's do it at the bottom. Okay, I guess I'll go ahead and do a little bit on this guy. Give him a little necklace. Fade it out a little bit. Oh shoot, I got the green from my leaf there. I wasn't dry. Darn it. I did not mean to wipe the green all the way across there. And if you look at the reference photo, the lines in the reference photo are not particularly straight or carefully applied, so the rustic, sometimes rustic is pretty fun to paint because it's a lot less intimidating, maybe. Don't have to be perfect about it. Be a little bit messier than normal. I went up higher on this side. Oh, gosh darn it. How did I keep doing that? Go. All right, that's better. Yeah, I did it high on this side too. My goodness, what is wrong with me tonight? I had a whole battle of Coke before I started the show, so I'm a little bit jittery.
Coca-Cola.
Coke, yes, not the other kind. I said bottle.
Oh, okay. I thought you said a battle with Coke.
No. No, I drank a whole bottle of Coke for the show.
Okay, all right. Just make sure.
Which might not have been a great idea looking back on it. A little bit jittery. My hand's not as steady as it could be. Adding some gray to this just to smudge it out a little bit and make it look a little, you know, it's going to have the same kind of highlights and things. Especially if it's scored into the pottery, it's going to have, you know, little highlights and things in there. That's cute. Not bad. Get a little bit of white here. If I can get some clean. Oh, that's not clean. That's why. Probably help if I cleaned out my brush. Get a little bit of white. Let's try this again. There we go. Put that highlight right where that's sticking out in the whitest part. There. Cute. This glazed ceramic, pottery, whatever, you know, doesn't have a lot of shine to it, so I don't need a ton of highlight on there. But I need some. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's splatter it. I think it needs some splatterings. That'll help kind of just even out the, kind of takes away the perfection, gives a little softer feel overall. Using the dark turquoise from the background shadow colors. Make sure I get some on my pots too. It's good, and then I'm going to use my cloth to kind of adjust the amount that's happening on each one. Right. Looks good. Are you happy with that?
I am.
You are? Looks like an hour and a half done. We are good. Good to go. I'm gonna add some white splatters too.
Ooh.
Double splatters, what does it mean?
It means I want it a little messier than it is. a little bit more texture and interest going on back here. Again, kind of messes it up a little bit. So it's not so fussy clean. I just like it a little bit messier sometimes. And this is a good one to do that with. Let me get some of my eucalyptus color and go back over that little bit there that I lifted off when I was messing with my vase. Okay, there we go. We're done. I'm going to sign it and call it good. We got a super chat?
Super chat.
Yay.
Ooh, got a squeaky thing.
All right. We had a bunch of chatters
Nice.
and one super chatter.
Yay.
Let me see if I can get this to work. There it is. From Cindy. Says,
Aw,
stay cool and keep painting.
Aw, I love that.
Thank you,
Cool
Cindy.
and keep
We
painting.
will.
I like it.
The rain took 10 degrees off the temperature, so that's helping.
So, yeah, I went out and gathered a basket of peppers. I should have showed the peppers that I gathered. They're still in my basket out there. But a big old basket of jalapenos and other peppers and cucumbers and I mean, I may be out there for 15-20 minutes at the most, and I came in and was just sweaty, just so gross. I'm like, ugh, can't stand it.
We got a question real quick.
Okay, sorry.
I'll just try to squeeze that in there.
Way TMI. Just like,
thank you
really,
for
do we
that.
need to know that?
How hot was it?
How sweaty was she? Okay, go. Sorry. I just realized what I was saying.
All right, I'm just going to
So
leave it at
gross.
that. So, they want to know, what is the advantage of using heavy body acrylics as opposed to regular acrylic paint?
By regular, you mean craft acrylic paints? I guess.
I'm going to say, just
I'm
like
assuming.
a standard, yeah.
Right. The like little bottles of acrylic paint that you find in the craft store.
Right.
Well, so for what we're doing, we really want the heavy body acrylics. One, for the reason that you can mix with them. The craft acrylics, you really don't want to be mixing. They're not a mixing paint, really. They will create muddy colors if you mix them. And they're also not as pigmented, and a lot of times not as light fast. So they're not as archival. So yeah, lots of reasons. I stopped using craft acrylics when I started doing canvases, pretty much. There are acrylics like Liquitex Basics and things that are more of a student quality acrylic that are a little bit less expensive, that you can still get good results with, that do mix well and are archival quality. So if you're going for cheaper paints, if that's the reason why you don't want to use the heavy body acrylics, which I totally get, if you're just kind of whatever, those are the way to go for sure, is the Liquitex Basics or something similar. So I'm going a little bit darker on my stems there. I realized I couldn't see some of them. So getting a little bit of the light green. I want to be sure that I have good light leaves too. I wasn't seeing a lot of the lighter leaves, but I think that's good enough. All right, I'm gonna stop messing with it.
Real quick, you talked earlier about Patreon and the supporters and what you can get on all the different
Yes.
channels. At the time of this recording, this live stream, it's the end of July 2022. So we encourage you, if you want to sign up and you haven't yet, wait until the 1st of August 1st to sign up, because they bill on a monthly cycle.
Right, yes. If you sign up now, you'll only get 1 week of
Right, you get like 4 or
July.
5 days, and then you get billed again. So
Right.
check your calendar if you're in the future. Hi, hope things are going well.
Yes.
Hope it's
Yes.
cooled down.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Hope
All right,
this
I'm
heat
done.
wave is left. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. I didn't mention that.
But
earlier.
thank you to all of the amazing supporters over on Patreon.
Yes, we have a lot of fun with our patrons.
Yes.
They're a great group of folks. Some of them have been with us since the very beginning in 2017 and before, even on YouTube and stuff. And it's just pretty cool. And I've been going through the process of scanning a lot of my old artwork and all of my artwork. I got a new scanner and just scanning it in, and it's just amazing to see what we've done over the years. We've done a lot of art, like over 500 free videos here on YouTube alone. So it's just crazy, and probably 600 total, all told. And we've come a long way in our quality of the videos. It's for sure.
With all the different sessions, we're well over 700. So
Really?
yeah, because
Oh, my goodness.
because the challenge images are 3 to 4, sometimes 5.
True. Yeah.
Sessions. So
Yeah.
you add those all
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, somebody wanted to know, how did you like the new brush?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. Yeah, it worked really well. It was great for the blending. It really pushed that paint around really nicely. Yeah. One word of caution is that I would be sure to clean this out really, really well, because these shorter bristle brushes like this tend to trap the paint up in here really easily. So I'm going to wash this out really carefully so that it doesn't get messed up. But yes, yeah, I really did like it a lot. Yeah, it did quick work of that. You can see how nicely it blended that out. Really pretty easy to use too. I feel like for this kind of blending, those shorter bristle brushes are a little bit easier to work with than those longer ones. That's why these blenders are so short, and that's just basically like one of these, only in a bigger size. It's squared off obviously, but it works just basically the same. So it felt very much like the blenders. If you like the blenders, then you'll probably like that one. So. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching tonight. You guys have a great rest of your week. If you're part of our $10 folks, we're going to be continuing work. I'll show you what we're working on, our animals of South America. We've got a few more to go. Probably got at least 3 more sessions to finish that one. Going to add a leopard and a sloth, or no, that's an anteater. The sloth's up there, and a llama and a monkey here. So. Yeah, and a scarlet ibis. So lots of fun stuff to add to that one still. That's our $10 level on Patreon. So we'll be working on that on Thursday. This will be our 3rd session on that one. So we've got lots to do still on it. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you next time.